Have you ever gone all out for someone you thought would always be there for you? There was a girl named Daisy. She was beautiful, not the kind of beauty that demanded attention, but the quiet, soft kind that made people underestimate her. And maybe that was her curse. When Daisy met Chuka, he was everything she thought she wanted. Bold, charming, with a dangerous edge that made her feel wanted. He wasn't rich, but he had ambition, and he never let her forget that. They met at the university. He would bring her food when she skipped meals, call her his piece, and tell her they'd rise together. His words were just as sweet as they were poisonous. At first it was little things. Don't wear that. Why are you talking to him? I'm the only one who understands you. Daisy didn't see it as control. She saw it as love, until she started losing friends. Her grades dropped, and her world narrowed until it was just Chuka. But she wasn't bothered at all because she had the love of her life right by her side. Chuka was well aware of how much control he had over his girlfriend, and exploited it in every way possible under the disguise of love through manipulation. One evening, he took her to a small shrine outside town, under the guise of bonding and adventure. The air was thick, the trees too still. "I need you to trust me," he said. She did. There, an old priest told her that to secure her man's greatness, she had to give up the one thing that made her a woman, her womb. That the gods required it, that it was the highest sacrifice. Daisy laughed at first. It sounded insane. But then Chuka dropped to his knees. "Baby, I love you. I would do it for you." And somehow, that lie sounded like a vow. With just a little bit of persistence from her boyfriend, she agreed. They didn't cut her open, no. The ritual was spiritually binding. The priest chanted, and in the dead of night, Daisy screamed as something inside her ripped. She bled for days, not physically, but spiritually, a kind of emptiness she couldn't explain. After their encounter with the priestess in the weeks that followed, Chuka's life started to change. Suddenly, he was driving cars, wearing designer clothes, and attending private parties with men too powerful to look ordinary. His money flooded in and flooded out. He stopped calling his girlfriend and started answering with, "I'm busy," whenever she tried to reach him. Then came the new girls. They were slimmer, louder, and flashier girls who didn't bleed for him. Daisy followed his social media stories and posts and observed in silence for weeks. She had become his stalker because he made sure she had no access to his new homes or phone number. Then one day she bled again, this time from her eyes. Not tears, but blood. The priest hadn't warned her that the sacrifice left a link between her soul and Chuka's spirit, and now his actions were killing her. One night, while lying on her mat, bones weak and skin burning, she whispered, "If I'm going to die, I'll take him with me." And that's when something answered back. Not a god, not a ghost, but something older than both. Something dark. It whispered her name and said it could help, but vengeance would require her last breath. Without being sure what it was and feeling cheated, she said yes without hesitation. That night, she visited Chuka in his new penthouse. He didn't expect her and he barely recognized her. "Jesus, Daisy, you look like death." "I know," she smiled. She kissed him, slowly, and he didn't resist. She whispered something in his ear. A chant, one she learnt from the thing that whispered to her earlier in the dark. Immediately, his body froze, paralyzed. She undressed him slowly, bathed him with palm oil, and laid him on a red mat she brought in a black bag. She made him watch as she poured ground bone into his mouth, as he choked and cried, unable to move. Then, she brought out a mirror and made him watch as his wealth vanished from his bank accounts, as his name trended on Twitter with the caption, "Fraud," while the spirits came for what he stole. He screamed, but only on the inside. By the time the sun rose, he was dead. His body was untouched, but his soul, ripped into pieces. Daisy vanished after that. Some say they saw her in the market, mad, laughing at shadows. Others say she died a week later in her room, clutching a doll soaked in blood. No one knows. But the room where she cursed him, it never felt warm again. And the priest who performed the ritual, he went blind 2 days later. Her life had no healing, and yet she was just a girl who gave everything to a boy she loved, and took back the only thing she had left, his end.